My Love of Life Energy is a podcast created by Anna Scott. Anna knows that every human being sees life uniquely. In this podcast, she will talk to people and learn from them. These conversations are to shine the brilliance of each human being she speaks to. Join her. After each exploration, you will expand on your insights and see truth and beauty.
Good morning and good afternoon, and welcome to my podcast, My Love of Life Energy. And today I'm back with Molly Lynch, my partner in crime and Exquisite Being. And today we are going to share with you about the 14th GeneKey. So welcome, Molly. It's always thrilling to have you here.
It's so fun. Always so fun. And, like starting off, just jumping into the spontaneity of it is also like the free fall is wonderful. I'll just say that. What's going to happen? We don't know.
I know. I think that's the beauty of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's the thing I love. I reflected, I'm going to get teary when I was at the beach. I reflected on my experience with you and the Gene Keys. And the thing I realized that I really love in my work with you, or I don't know what you call it, play, is that we stop and we look. Like we don't just regurgitate, we see what we see about the information.
Right.
Like it becomes ours.
Right. Yeah. It's like the using the pause in some way, but also the potential of seeing something new about life and about self and about each other and others. Yeah.
It's that, it's seeing it new and seeing it for myself. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yes. Yeah.
Like I was been such a seeker that and I would take the information in, but it didn't mean I saw it. So when we pause and we look at these gene keys together, we look to see what we see.
Right. It's through our perception point.
Yeah.
Interpretive, but it's unique because what I'm hearing you say about it, that is like uniquely your perception of that experience, the information. And it's kind of what we were talking about on our last episode with light, and how we each have a different point on the prism, let's say, of that, seeing how it's reflected and what is the experience of self in that.
Yeah, and it's I don't want to say this. I think what we're offering people is the opportunity for them to start seeing for themselves, like what's true for them, to be a true individual seer.
And through the spheres, through the gene keys, it's so powerful because the map or the experience of being in, let's say, the purpose sphere and noticing how to relate that to what purpose is for myself or another individual is so powerful. Like, how can I, it's sort of like, how can I use this tool to allow me to see something that not only that I haven't seen before, but connect again with the truth of that.
Yeah, that's in me.
Yes, it's like the remembrance we talk about.
Right. Like this, what I love about the gene keys is that this intelligence is in me. And if I see it, then I see it and I can use it then. But it's different than getting information because I'm not seeing it. It's just a concept or an idea.
Right. Right. And there's something about the contemplation, the contemplative part of this experience is everything. I see that more and more, just to pause and to contemplate what is this frequency actually, what is my experience of this frequency, and how do I know then to to move and work with it and liberate, but also have the experience of feeling what that frequency feels like in my body, in my experience, and its manifestation, let's say.
Yeah. That's the I mean, it's like the different ways that we can experience is through our thinking, through our emotions and the sensations.
Mm.
Becoming present. What is mine?
Yes. The individual signature, let's say.
And knowing that it will change, because the next time, God, we've been looking at these, what, for almost 2 years together.
That's amazing.
The next time we look, we'll see something new.
Perhaps because we're new. Like we can see something new because we're new.
Yeah.
Perhaps. But
So with the,
yeah,
go ahead. No, go ahead, sweetie.
No, really. Well, I was just feeling like the segue or this bridge into the 14th gene key.
That's what I was going to say
I
to
had
the
a feeling.
T.
We're doing the same. We're on the same
Yeah.
flow, same frequency, same channel. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's something I actually listened to both. Remember when we were doing the reflections and we were
Yeah.
recording our reflections of each gene key? We did that for 64 days straight. And I listened to both my contemplation and your contemplation. And what the 14th gene key is, in the shadow, it's compromise. In the gift, it's competence. And the acidic frequency is bounteousness. And what we're speaking to is like we're right now in correlation to, let's just say, the shadow frequency of compromise. It's like at some point, I think in growing up in our self, it's like we learn to listen to an external rather than to the internal place, where it is the unique frequency of our heart, let's say. And it's about compromises about forgetting to listen to that place first. There's something about giving up that point of seeing or knowing or remembering, and then the compromise happens and a little part of us goes with that.
Well, it's kind of like, this is a silly example. Like sometimes I compromise what I want because I care more for the other person. And it's not that big of a deal for me. Like they really want it. But there are times like yesterday, last night, we're walking and I really wanted my walk all the way. My partner was like, oh, we can go back early. I'm like, no, I'm not. And I was so clear in my heart what was true for me.
So you kept going?
Yeah.
And did your partner go with you?
He did. But it didn't matter, there were lots of options, but in that moment, it didn't matter.
Right. I think that's part of it too. It's like we're taking others into consideration. I think this is like the baseline. It's like we can take others into consideration, and compromise can be detrimental if we really are going against the flow of our own desire in the good way. There's something about that. It's like if we're listening to that internal guidance, the flow, the way, the Tao, then it becomes, in consideration is beautiful, but not at the expense of our own.
Yes.
Compromise. Then we cut off.
That's it. That's it. Like that. I mean, like for me, that's it in that moment. Like I'm not seeing it. I hadn't seen it till this moment. Like, how do I really listen to my heart?
Yeah.
What's true for me? Really true. Like some things I prefer preferences.
Yeah.
But there's times where, oh no, this is a line in the sand.
Right. And to honor that, like knowing that it is the call of the heart, let's say. And I think it takes time to listen to that place.
I I hate to say this, but at 62 years old, I'm learning how to do it at a
Mm-hmm.
deeper way.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think I've been so indoctrinated to listen to outside forces. Doctors know better.
Mm-hmm.
These three people, these are the experts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But nobody's in my body. I'm the only one who's in me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I really see, like, as design, as far as design, let's say, just like a bigger design, let's say intelligent design, like we each have our own pathways through this beautiful matrix of, I don't know, life, love, universal mystery. But if, let's
Mhm.
just say, we didn't ever compromise one part of that listening to the heart, that guidance, we wouldn't be bumping into everything all the time. Like, to me, there's like these clear paths that I mean, it's a lofty goal, but I think in this 14th gene key then goes into the gift of competence. It's like we do have that gift in us, that we do
Mhm.
know how to honor ourselves. We have all the potential and skill inside already to move through our lives without having to leave ourselves behind.
That to me is breathtaking to know that.
Mm,
Like like in the competence, like there's this enthusiasm,
mm,
and in it, like that energy of it's like a crackling fire, a contagious fire
mm,
that can produce something, and it's efficient. So
mhm.
the energy is efficient. It knows how to get the thing done the most efficient way.
Right.
And I will do it in my way,
Yeah.
but it won't be everybody's way.
Right.
It'll be the way that I see to get it done.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I think there's this word that's bubbling up. It's called negotiation, that word. And it's like kind of the opposite of compromise. I mean, yes, opposite in some way of compromise, but it also shows how competence can really be of use, in the sense of, if we're negotiating, that's a different energy. We're standing in our, like you said, our own mastery of knowing our own selves and what our heart wants. But we can negotiate with others what they want and find a middle point, because I think there is a middle point. I know there
Yes.
is.
Well, and that's I think in the Gene Keys they talked a word about like it had flexibility.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Like I can be flexible on things. Like my partner really wants this for lunch.
Mm-hmm.
I, I don't have a strong opinion. Sounds great.
Right.
I can find something in it unless I really have that in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
And there's that energy of like knowing whether we're just giving way or we're giving space. Giving away, giving
Oh,
space, giving over. And that's
say
kind of
more
what,
about that.
well, I think there's a larger spaciousness to, let's just say that, I'll just use the word competence. Like, I think there's, and even bounteousness, which is the city. It's like there's a huge space to include
Uh,
everything. And what we cling on to can be small, but to open and go, there's a space for this, because my deeper desire, my deeper intention is for all to feel included, for the whole to be served and included. And how can we listen to the whole and allow my own desire, my own fulfillment, let's say, to be expressed in the collective, and we honor each other, you know.
when you were speaking, Molly, I could feel it was like a needle with a thread
Mm,
going around and connecting everybody
mm,
together.
mm-hmm,
And when you said like that, making giving space, I could feel the bounteousness, like the why, like how do I say it?
Mm.
It's like the borders come off.
Mm. Oh, I just saw how compromise equals lack, right? And bounteousness is so vast and open and inclusive that there isn't any lack. And that knowing, like the competence, I'm getting lost in the maze. Somebody hold me back.
Okay, so no, I just felt it what you
Mhm.
said. So in the compromise,
Mhm.
it's like I felt the constriction and I'm feeling alone and separate,
Mhm. Mhm. Right.
and I have to protect and defend.
Yeah.
Oh, so much fear.
Yes. Yeah.
And the bountiness, it's kind of a knowing of the that we're all in it together. And there's room enough for everybody. My
Yeah.
mother used,
Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead.
Well, there's just the innate wisdom and intelligence within each
Yeah.
person. There is
Yes.
competence in each person to create the bounteousness together. We don't have to let ourselves go because we know that that competence and that quality of our potential and our expressing and sharing that is a part of it. It's
Yes.
not going to take away from it. It's the part
Ah,
or the part of that. Mm.
I feel the generosity of it,
Mm. Yeah.
of the bountiness.
Bounteousness. Yeah, it's like nobody has to compromise in bounteousness. There's no need to. There is no lack there.
Oh, it's so interesting. I just saw how what you were just saying,
Yeah.
um, that this is in a codon ring, which God
Mm.
knows I can't understand, but it's something in our genes that are working together. And it's about the ring of prosperity.
Mm.
And it's this, the 14th is tied with the 45th about communion. And I
Mm.
just saw when we're all come together, that is the prosperity.
Mm. Yeah. It's like compromise, acting from compromise, thinking from compromise creates lack
Yes.
because we're not allowing the full expression of our inner prosperity to be shared.
Oh,
It's like we're whole lack of our self to the whole, not bringing that fullness to the whole.
I can just feel when we do that, the beauty. Oh,
Mhm.
this is so funny.
Hmm.
So, oh no, this is is it in the ring of fire? I
I
always
think it
wanted
might be. I think it is actually.
the ring of fire. That's it. No, anyway, I'm lost now, but that's all right. I can feel the fire. It's like the fullness of bringing the fullness
Mhm.
of it,
Mm.
the fullness of myself. The thing that I love is the fire in my belly.
Mm. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah,
Oh yeah, I got the whole the codon ring wrong. It is. It's the ring of fire.
I think Richard actually speaks to that in his contemplation on the 14th about learning to make fire with the spark. And
Yeah.
once you do that, you always will know how to then do it, and that's the competence part. Yeah.
God, it's so
What were you-
beautiful.
I want to rewind because you had something you were going to say before I so rudely interrupted you. The about your mother saying something.
About it had to do with the bounty bountiness that she said if you have an orange, you can cut it in half, you can cut it in fourths, you can cut it in eighths. And so there was more than enough for everybody,
Mm.
but it's how we saw it. Like everybody could come to the table.
Yeah, like there's infinite amount.
Yes.
And it's yeah, it's like the thread, and you can always pull the next piece of thread and make more thread. I think that was another
Yes.
metaphor. That there's
But what
the
is,
infinite, there's the infinity of, there's the infinite eternal of
mm,
bounteousness. I mean, even saying it, it's like almost too many letters. It's like that's too much not even, you know what I mean?
and what does bounteousness feel like to you?
Well,
What's an experience?
interestingly, while we're speaking of it, like when I get to that frequency, let's say, as I contemplate it and just am feeling the essence of the word, um, there's a calmness to it, actually. Like it's like a trusting, like, oh, that I can rest in the infinity of things and the
Mm,
internal nature of prosperity and the internal nature of abundance and well-being and wealth and opulence and all the things that bounteousness includes.
mm,
It's like the wholeness. There's nothing missing.
mm. And when you see that, what do you experience?
I just feel experience my own presence within the whole experience, really, and that there is space for all. What's your experience of bounteousness?
Mm, mm. It's funny. The preciousness of the one.
Mm. Oh,
I don't know if I'm saying that, but I can feel that.
so beautiful.
How precious just one thing is. Just the one.
Mm. Mm.
No, it's like I see the one
Mm-hmm.
and I see the infinite.
Mm-hmm.
Like I see one grain of sand,
Mm-hmm.
and then I see the whole beach covered with it all.
Mm.
What do I feel? I just feel I feel whole.
Yeah, it's the fullness. Yeah. And the experience of like sitting with it as an energetic experience, the wholeness, it's like it's a closed system in the sense of that that's all that there is.
Mm,
And these places that we go, or we forget to bring ourselves through compromise to this
mm,
place, it's almost like sitting in bounteousness or wholeness. I can't I can't see or hear or feel compromise. Like there isn't space for compromise. I think I said that earlier, but as I sit in this longer, I'm like, all I have to do is be who I am and share who I am if it's in making an agreement or discussing something that we're building together
mm.
or sharing with each other.
I love what you the word he had a word, the flexibility, and it was about the negotiation. You said, I see that there's so many ways to get everybody's needs met, what they
Mm-hmm.
want.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Yeah, I think folks get, scared or worried that if they share what they really want, or if it's really not, because if we're not going with what others want, sometimes we will be left out or we'll feel, like we are don't fit in or whatever those things are. But those ideas about it, but there's a great trust. There's a great trust in remembering that, knowing that the
mm,
wholeness lives within coming from our own wholeness.
Yeah. I think that's our intention when we work with people, is we want them to come get to know their heart, listen to their hearts, and come
Yeah.
fully into themselves and into their life.
Yeah. I think we have everything within us already. We don't
And we
have,
just have to listen.
yeah. Listen and move from, act from, speak from that place.
It's beautiful. Thank you, Molly.
Thanks, Anna.
It's always fun to explore together.
May the 14th GeneKey of bounteousness shower upon us all.
Yeah, that's a great wish. Thank you.
Thank you.